What's going on, guys? So, very special project today, something that I've been talking about in several videos pretty much since the point that we got the RV to our storage facility from Seguin where we picked it up. Anyways, guys, we'll talk again once we get there. Alright guys, so we are here at Southern Tire Mart. The vast majority, I believe, of what they do here is commercial work. That's why you see all these 22.5 and 24.5 inch tires sitting around. And then you got my small rig. Everything else is pretty much fleet vehicles and fleet trucks. So today, they are going to be removing these Goodyear K-Max tires, and they will be installing some really cool Continental tires. And these are trailer specific tires, but they have a 75 mile an hour maximum speed rating. Now the cool thing is they're the exact same size as these, and they have the exact same load rating. So I'm getting the same tire in terms of robustness and payload capacity, but I'm also getting a tire that can go much, much faster, safer. So that's the key. It's not that I'm gonna go 75 miles an hour, so that's what I want you to listen to. I will not travel at that speed when I'm towing, but I will probably go in the 65 to 67 mile an hour range at times. So I want a tire that is definitely rated up to at least that speed. Got Continental tires on the truck. They're going to be throwing them on the trailer today. So I want to give a huge shout out to the folks at Continental. They are a very strong supporter of my channel. And I'm even trying to see if I can get the folks at eTrailer hooked up with carrying the Continental tires we're getting put on today. Because what I've told them, and I think what they already know, is that a lot of RVers are willing to pay for a better tire, for a safer towing experience. And if it's only marginally more expensive, or if it's an investment that will last them a long time, it's certainly something people would consider. So if they pick up the Continental tire line, at least this specific tire, it will certainly be for certain applications, and it will be at the higher end of what the cost structure is for most tires. So keep that in mind. However, you're gonna get one heck of a good tire. And if you look at the polls that I ran, everyone who commented on those tires that knows those tires says they're the best tires they've ever ran on their trailers. And oftentimes that's a commercial trailer. So we're gonna get inside, meet with the manager, and get this process kicked off. Okay, so talk about inventory. This is the tire inventory that they just have back here at Southern Tire Mart here in Corpus Christi. The GM here told me that they have lots of ST tires. So of the tires that most people put on their trailer, a lot of people want to move to that really high-end tire. And in my case, the Continental, hey, there it is right there.
Yeah.
That's my, I think that's actually my tire.
Yeah.
So these are the tires that are going on my unit. Man, they got a bunch of them here too. And you guys are an actual Continental dealer as well.
Right.
And this is a 245 70 17.5. So some folks might say, how much taller is this tire going to be given the fact that it's 245 millimeters wide with the 70% profile or aspect ratio to the sidewall on a 17.5 inch wheel? And that's going to be actually a slight hair over an inch taller overall, but in terms of the actual ride height of the RV, it only equates to a little more than a half an inch. So it's not very much of a difference. But you can see this is certainly a rib design. Rib means these solid tread blocks going all the way through. These little ports right here to give you some traction and to eject rocks and snow and to help channel water away from it. But this is the tire that a lot of commercial trucks put on their trailers because they're designed for extremely high mileage, very low rolling resistance, the ability to dissipate heat very quickly. But here's the key. This is a J load range tire. 18 ply J load range tire. This is what you see on lowboy deck over trailers. This is what you see in a commercial application most of the time. And we're gonna be putting this on the fifth wheel. And the general manager just snuck up behind me and he said, these are the tires they put on commercial trailers that are hauling bulldozers around. Yep, this is a heck of a tire, and they got a ton of them in all sorts of different sizes. So this is a 22.5 295/80 tire. They got mine right here. They got it in a, oh, this is actually the same tire I have on my truck, the 225/70 19.5 Conti Hybrid HS3s. I think I have the HD3 version, which is more of a drive tire versus a steer tire. But The difference really is the tread, and on a light duty or pickup truck application, it's perfectly fine. Well, let's take a closer look at this beast. Over 6,000 pounds worth of payload capacity per tire. This is what, again, the general manager here said is too much tire for my RV in a very good way. All right, so the GM here walked me over to this wheel, and he said what he gets a lot of are folks with RVs that come in here with the 16-inch wheels and a tire that really is designed for more of a lighter application, and he'll sell them these wheels. They're a steel wheel. It's actually a pretty cool looking high gloss black steel wheel for $100 each, and he'll load a 17.5-inch tire on it, so you have what you need to be able to handle whatever weight you're looking for. And a good example is there's a truck right over here, and I don't want to get the company on the side of the truck in the picture, but that truck came in with 16-inch wheels on a dump trailer, and he's constantly blowing tires. So they're going to put these wheels on with a H-rated tire that's a much better quality tire, so the owner of that truck can handle the weight that he's going to load inside of his dump trailer without any problem at all. Okay, so they are chalking up the unit. We are in the garage. You got some massive bays here. And again, they do just about everything. Man, they could fit another whole trailer behind me. So this is what they're going to use to lift up the unit.
Works with air.
It's a pneumatic jack. And where's the best and safest place to position this under an RV?
What I'm gonna do? You don't want to get it in the middle because it'll bend this.
Yep.
That's too much weight. It'll bend it. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna position my jack. Once I lower this some, I'm gonna position it about right here. I'm gonna jack it up, and then I'm gonna put a jack stand for extra added safety.
Okay.
On all four.
So he has a really cool little cup here, and this is actually designed to be tapered out. So
if that pipe axle, if you will sit right in there.
Correct. So it doesn't actually crush the actual axle tube, because they can be crushed. Yeah. You can break those things. Yeah. So all he's going to do is use this to lift it up high enough that he can place a jack stand under it to hold the weight. And again, if this was completely flat on top, that could slide, and it could even damage the axle tube. But because it's cut out perfectly for the shape of the axle tube, we should be in good shape. Okay, so he's got all four off the ground. I thought you were going to do 2 and 2, but no, you got the whole thing off the ground. Good deal. And he's using 3-ton jacks on each one, so we got 6,000 pounds capacity per corner. And what was your name?
Ruben. Boss.
Ruben. So this gentleman right here has been working on tires for how long?
Off and on most of my life.
Most of his life.
I'm 62 now.
62 years old, and he was crawling under there like a teenager.
Yeah.
Man, you still got it, my friend. Yeah. I imagine these tires weigh a lot more than the traditional RV tire. And for those of you who want to check out the Dexter disc brakes that I have on the fifth wheel, as well as the Road Armor suspension from Lippert and the heavy duty shackle straps with greasable wet bolts, this is it. 8,000 pound axles, disc brakes, Road Armor suspension. I know the paint up there looks kind of sloppy, but that was only because right there, that little brace that you see for the shackle hangers is aftermarket. The folks at LCI came down and installed those, and then they spray painted them when they were done. I'm not concerned about that at all. But there they are. Those are my disc brakes. Very, very cool. All right, so he is putting some air in it right now just to set the bead, and then he is going to do the very smart thing, and that is move over to the cage so he can inflate it. This is crazy because they're both 245, 70, 17.5s. But look how they square the edge off on the Continental versus the Goodyear. They're both deflated right now. And that's really interesting because this definitely has a more squared off pattern to it. Now, what would be interesting to find out is the overall tread width being 245 millimeters. Is there any reason why the Continental is shaped pretty much, I mean, check that out. It's pretty much a straight 90 degree, whereas you look at this, there's a bit of a bow to it. That's definitely interesting. But man, they're heavy tires for sure. But yeah, this is the Goodyear K-Max, and this is the Continental HTL2 Eco Plus. And again, they call this the Eco Plus because of the real low rolling resistance of this specific tire. You can see how it has this really interesting little notch pattern right here, which is designed for traction, rock ejection, water ejection. But yeah, that is a really good tire. You look at this tire, you know, honestly, like I said, the Continental looks like a more robust tire than the K-Max, even though they're pretty much the direct competitors, except this has a 75 mile an hour max speed rating. This has a 62. Both J-rated, both over 6,000 pounds worth of capacity. Far more practical. And what I've found out recently is this is only a hair more expensive than this tire. Probably the same price if you go to a dealership that sells them both. But yeah, just a slightly more expensive tire than the K-Max. What do you guys think? They're definitely heavy. They don't feel like the typical tire you take off of an RV for sure. Okay, so something that they asked me if I want it done is, do I want them balanced? Because they say, you know, typically in RVs, people don't ride in the RV, so they don't balance them unless it's specifically requested. I told them, yes, let's balance it, but understanding that you may not want your specific setup balance. You may want to save that cost. Why balance them then? Because it would reduce the vibration inside of the trailer while you're towing, and it reduces the risk of things falling over, falling out, and it's going to reduce some of the transfer of that vibration and shock to the chassis of your RV. So I always recommend you balance your trailer tires. It might cost you a little bit more, but it's definitely worth it if you're dealing with something like an RV. Okay, so now Ruben is about to balance the tires. Again, the whole point of balancing them is to reduce the vibration, reduce the awkward wear and tear, make them last a little longer. A lot of reasons to balance your tires. If you're not doing it to save money, then you should reconsider. So yeah, we are out here at Southern Tire Mart in Corpus Christi, Texas. We have the truck and the RV in the service bay currently. They carry just about every major brand of tire, both commercial and consumer you can imagine. That's all their light duty vehicle, pickup truck, car side. This is their heavy duty stuff. They have bays tall enough to fit a full height, full profile fifth wheel, which is super cool. And they work on a ton of RVs. There we go, we got the first tire mounted onto the RV. Ruben's about to put the second tire on. And then he'll torque everything down. We already got the TPMS set on that specific one. And we should be good to go here real soon. Okay, so we have the other 4 tires on. Ruben's dropping down the spare tire. Okay, so now we're on to the spare. This is a steel wheel, significantly heavier than the aluminum. And we're just gonna put this one on normally. Breaking the bead. Dismounting it and throwing the new Continental on, and then hanging it back up, torquing those down, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so we have the spare tire successfully mounted. He is lifting up, removing the floor jack so we can lower it back down. He is just finishing up the torquing process. Okay, so we are all done here. Everything's torqued down. All the caps are back in place. We have our TireLink TPMS sensor from Lippert reinstalled. Wheels need to be cleaned up a little bit, but that's kind of expected. Very cool. I have these phenomenal Continental HTL2 Eco Plus trailer tires on my fifth wheel now. J load rating. These are 245/70 17.5s. Super cool. Look at that rib design. Over 6,000 pounds capacity per tire. Now, if you're going to look at getting something like this for your fifth wheel, you could probably go for like a 215/75 or a 235/75. The 235 is going to be roughly the exact same height, because a 235/75 and a 245/70 and a 17.5 essentially are the same height. A 215 will be about an inch, a little over an inch lower, but again, only half of that is going to be applied towards overall height. So your RV will only sit about a half inch higher. Super beefy tires. And if you're wondering what labor on a project like this is, it was $268.30. And that was to change the tires out, medium duty truck tires, so keep that in mind, as well as the balancing of the tires. Okay, so it's been a long morning. We just got back with the fifth wheel. Got our brand new Continental HTL2 Eco Plus tires on, 245/70 17.5, J load rating, 75 mile an hour speed rating. That is one heck of a tire. You can see the balancing weights on the outside. We did have them balanced. Those tires are overkill. They are as overkill as they come. They are absolutely a beefy tire and can easily handle the weight of the fifth wheel, even the maximum weight of the fifth wheel fully loaded. And that is really cool. Price on these tires are going to really range from probably around $325 all the way up to right under $400, maybe $375 in that range for a tire ranging from a 215 all the way up to a 245, depending on the size. They only make this, at least the smallest diameter rim they make this for is a 17.5. So if you were looking to get this on your fifth wheel, if you have like 7,000 pound axles and 16-inch wheels, then you absolutely need to upgrade to a 17.5-inch wheel to support these. Good thing is a lot of places carry them. eTrailer stocks them up, you know, and a lot of manufacturers are now including them on fifth wheels, so that's really nice. But this is probably the most robust tire that you can get, and I have to give a huge shout out to the video sponsor Continental Tires for setting me up with these. I'm going to give you my long-term evaluation on them as well, how they roll. I've only towed with them for about 20 miles now, just basically from the tire shop here. And, you know, I've never really been able to tell a discernible difference between how tires on trailers towed, but they felt smooth, I guess. And I definitely feel a lot safer because of that 75 mile an hour speed rating and the 6,000 pound plus capacity. But the Goodyears had the same capacity, just not the speed rating. These Continentals have a phenomenal reputation, though, in the industry. So that's another thing they have going for them. If you look at a lot of commercial fleet owners or folks who have over-the-road trucks, things like that, Continental tires have definitely developed a great reputation in that space. So I have high hopes for them. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.